Welcome to episode 14 of Regen Rovers Revelations, my little side series that goes alongside the main Regen Rovers series. Haven't made one of these videos for a while, but this is the perfect opportunity to do one, I think, because we're at the end of season 13 and we've just been promoted to the Premier League. Hopefully I haven't spoiled that for anyone, but you should have watched episode 121 by now. So in today's video I'm just going to take a look back at the journey so far. I'm not going to show highlights of videos or anything like that. I really don't have the time to do that, and I'm sure you want me to focus on getting started on our first season in the Premier League. So it's just going to be me browsing around the game, having a look back at all the leagues, the league history, some of the key players in the Regen Rovers story, and also taking a look at all the other leagues, Champions Leagues, etc. at the end of the video. So if you want to know about that, you can stick around until the end of the video. Sit back, enjoy. So our journey began in the 2018-19 season, where we started in the English Southern League Premier South. I put Regen Rovers into the 7th tier of English football, and this was our regional division. And we finished 18th. You might remember it was a bit of a struggle, and it was classic Regen Rovers. It was just like Series 1 in a way, surviving on the last day. In the end, Met Police, Harrow and Swindon Supermarine were relegated. Our key players that season, Morgan Fawkes, he's still at the club. I will sort of undulate and wend my way through this video. We're just going to kind of go backwards and forwards really, but we'll have a look at the two players from that season that are still here. Of course they don't play anymore. Morgan Fawkes, now 30 years old, our Welsh striker, joined us on loan for 2 seasons from Dartford, of course. His best 2 seasons for the club was when he was on loan, and he was such a key player in that first season, scoring 24 goals, 7 assists, really good average rating for a team towards the bottom of the table. I can't remember, was he towards the top of the goal scoring charts? May even have been top goal scorer in the league, I can't really remember. The second season, 14 goals, not quite so good, and after that he was just sort of mainly a substitute for a few years. When we reached the National League South, that was above his level. I mean, even this level, he had one good season at this level, but he probably should be playing in the 8th tier of English football or something like that. But he's still here, he's on a non-contract, and that's why I'm not going to just release him. He can leave the club if he wants to. The other player to make an impact that season, Ray Rigg, is actually improving, strangely. He's 29 years old now, going on 30 I suppose soon. And he had a okay first season, not average rating wise not the best, but he scored 6 goals, bit of a free kick wizard of course, 12 assists as well, so he was important in that regard. And he's picked up a few assists over the years. He's continued to play in the Hampshire Senior Cup every now and then, not this season, just gone. Same with Morgan Fawkes. Both of them didn't make a single appearance, but they were very important players in that first season, of course. So we'll go through to 2019-20, and we've really improved. We finished 9th in the table. It was kind of a mid-table finish. We were looking to try and get into the playoffs. It wasn't quite enough in the end. But yeah, a very good second season indeed. 81 goals, 61 conceded, 67 points. A vast improvement on that first season. And players involved that are still at the club in that second season include, of course, Fawkes and Ray Rigg, but also David Okora joined by that point. He joined at the end of the first season from Swindon on a free, and he really is a club legend. I'm highlighting him at the start of this video because he really was. He has been incredible. He's made the most appearances for the club. In fact, I will show you the player spreadsheet now whilst I remember. So, like I said, I'm going to undulate through this video, going backwards and forwards. But Okora has made the most appearances for the club, 514. Of course, we do include Hampshire Senior Cup games in this because it is an official competition in this universe anyway. That is quite some achievement. Over 100 ahead of Perry Miles through our youth academy, one of our own. I'll have a look at him in a second. Agu is 3rd. We'll also have a look at him because he featured in the second season as well, of course. Mark Ball is up to 5th now. He really has been magnificent, hasn't he? And he is a club legend. He's the biggest club legend. He's our all-time top goal scorer. If I just scroll down, 29 players have made 100 appearances for Regen Rovers now. New additions this season include Stuart Cochrane onto that list. Is there anyone else? Howard Flanagan as well has moved into this top 29. Top goal scorers, we might as well have a look at this now. Mark Ball is closing in on 200. He'll have to score quite a few in the Premier League to get up to that 200 next season. A long way ahead of second place Agu. I mean, Agu was, for the first few years of our history, he was our best striker. Absolutely insane. Paul McCann also chipped in, of course. He's our third top goal scorer still, despite having left a long time ago. Ryan Curtis is up to fourth these days. Alec McCann still there in the top 5. Fawkes just one ahead of Luna. Luna won't have the opportunity to add to that because, of course, he's moving to the States in the summer. Elliot Avison on there, Sean Walker and David Okoro from goalkeeper position. Because of all those penalties, he's our 10th highest scorer ever. That is incredible, isn't it? Digressed a bit there, but yeah, in that second season he was important, helping us climb up that table. And after that, I mean, a few really good seasons average rating wise, plenty of clean sheets, as you can see. Twice he's managed to get 22 clean sheets in one season, one of which was in League One. He even got 12 clean sheets in his first year in the Championship. That's when he started to be a bit shaky. There are a few mistakes, but he actually made the most saves and parries in the Championship that season. We replaced him with Bayliss the following year, but he did have a very good season considering how many shots rained in on his goal. Maybe he was a little bit unfairly treated by you, by me, maybe a little bit as well, because he was really good in that first Championship season. And for him to climb all the way up from the Southern Premier South, he's going to be a Premier League goalkeeper next year. I feel like I have to play him in one Premier League game. He's made at least one appearance in the league every single season. He made one this year. And a few Hampshire Senior Cup games. Of course, he managed to win the Hampshire Senior Cup as well. So that's David Okoro. Perry Miles, one of our own, fan favourite. He did play at the end of that first season when he came through the academy. He's never managed to get a particularly good average rating. Only once has he got over a 6.91. That was actually the first season in the Championship, which is pretty special for him to do that, really, considering he's another player that's climbed up the divisions. I think he kind of good enough for League One. You know, he's an average player in League One. Championship a bit too much of a step up for him. He did well, but last couple of years I haven't really played him. He only made 6 appearances, 1 appearance in the league this year. He'll stay at the club, I think. I think I'll give him like a year contract, if he wants to stay, that is. Just to say he's climbed all the way up to the Premier League. Okoro's still got 1 year in his contract, by the way. And the other player to feature in that second season, a very important player in that second season, Ogachukwu Agu, his contract's up in the summer. But yet again, I feel like I have to just give him 1 year just to say he's climbed all the way up the leagues with us. The only year he hasn't played, I'm actually sad about that. I didn't realise he hadn't made appearance in the Championship this season, because I'd have played him otherwise, especially towards the end when we'd already qualified for the playoffs. Well, that's my mistake. He appeared at the end of that first season, and I've got a secret to tell you, because we had this record that he had, scoring every single season. In fact, he has done that. He has scored every single season, not league-wise, but in the Hampshire Senior Cup in the last 4 years, he has scored. He hasn't scored a league goal since League 2, but he has scored in the Hampshire Senior Cup. He's only got 1 Football League goal. All of his other goals are in the either the Hampshire Senior Cup or in non-league level. But he did actually score in his first season, at the end of that first season. Unfortunately, the game crashed and I had to replay the match. I think he actually scored the winning goal. I can't remember off the top of my head at all who it was against, what the circumstances were. I just remember at the time thinking, oh yes, Agu's got his first goal for the club, and the game crashed. And in the end, he didn't score in those 3 appearances at the end of that season, which is a real shame, because he'd have been able to hold the record of scoring every single season if he had managed, if that had stood. That's another parallel universe that has vanished now. In another parallel universe, Agu has turned into a Premier League striker, and he's playing for England. That's what we can dream anyway. So those are the players still at the club that were important. Of course, there's loads of players that really were important to us back in the day. Shall we? We'll have a look at the last couple seasons in the Southern League Premier South first. Sorry if this is a bit rambly. I know these videos aren't for everyone, but some of you enjoy this sort of, I don't know, me rambling away, talking about stuff. So hopefully some of you get something out of this. If you don't, then don't watch, I suppose. Anyway, third season, we finished second. Very, very unlucky, weren't we? We got into the playoffs and we lost against Tadcast. I'm not sure, we won't be able to see the game because it's so long ago. Could get up the old save files. Maybe at the end of the series I'll get all the old save files and we can have a look properly at everything. But that was such a horrible defeat. It was so tense. It was an incredible game for the neutrals, but we lost 4-3 against Tadcast. All that hard work, finishing second in the table. Tottenham were just a little bit too good defensively. You can see they conceded 20 goals less, although we scored 31 more than them. But they were just a bit more consistent, and they got promoted as champions, and we missed out entirely in the end. Agu was phenomenal that season, I think. Should we just check how many goals he scored? Because I think it was quite a lot. He scored 24 in his second season. Yeah, 27, 25 in the league. He really was special that year. He really was. He just blitzed that league completely. However, the following season, we were promoted to the National League South. I was starting to think we're never going to go up. This series is going to go on forever. It has. But I thought we were going to get stuck here for a long time. We finished a long way ahead of Hereford. We only lost 2 games all season. One against Royston, one against Carlton. That was a bit of a cracking game. But yeah, all those wins in that 4th season. In fact, we can have a look. Why not? Let's go back and have a look at that 4th season. You can see all those wins. Here we go. We opened the season with a 2-0 win and a 3-0 win. We then lost 4-3, but that was only our one of 2 defeats that season. 5-1 win. That was in the Southern League Cup. Doesn't quite count. 4-3 win. There was so many goals. It really was such a special season for us. That we lost against Tadcaster again. Fortunately in the Cup. First round of the Cup. We managed to get to the first round of the Cup, which was some achievement at the time. We've not done very much in the Cups recently. If you see Danny Hughes, by the way, that is Josh Mann. His real name before he changed it for his Patreon purposes. So he scored quite a few goals that season as well, didn't he? Paul McCann, really a great end to the season for Paul McCann. He was magnificent as well. Let's look at Paul McCann then, because he's our third. Is he our third top goal scorer ever or 4th? Yeah, he's our 3rd top goal scorer ever. But he retired after leaving us. He scored 91 goals in all competitions, 67 league goals for us. It's a shame that he just didn't decide to drop down. When did he leave? 2028. I suppose we were in League 2 by then, something like that. In fact, higher than that. 2028 must have been going up to the Championship, I think, that he left us, and maybe that's why he didn't want to drop down all the way back to non-league football, I suppose. But he really was an important player for us. Another one, of course, an early legend of the team, Sean Walker. He's retired as well at the age of 28. And that's a shame too, because he had something about him. He could certainly play in the National League South, that's for sure, but he decided to retire only a year ago. He only left a year ago. He decided to leave. It wasn't even me pushing him out. He decided to leave himself. But yeah, he's gone. Who else was a big part? I mean, Aaron Trollope, part of the first season, ended up being a coach for us, didn't he? Came back as a coach after playing for Horsham YMCA, which is quite random. But yeah, he's ended up retiring as well. So we went up to the National League South, and in our first season, we managed to get another promotion. The first attempt, promoted to the National League Premier, 1 point ahead of Dulwich, who also went up via the playoffs. We once again huge goal scorers in this league. We were insane. Was this the year of Alec McCann? I can't. Oh, we'll have to check that actually. But we really were magnificent once again in front of goal. Let's take a look at Alec McCann, who's now playing for Arbroath these days in Scottish League 1. He did play in the Scottish Premiership, although he didn't actually play. Played in the League 2, helped Arbroath get promoted to League 1. Didn't score many goals though, did he? It just didn't work out for him. I really thought he could turn into a decent player. But yes, it was that first season in the National League South that he played for us. He scored 34 goals, which was a club record. And it stood for a little while, I think, before Mark Ball came along. 34 goals in one season. 28 in the league. 16 assists as well. Insane season from him. He's just about on the player spreadsheet in appearances wise, because across the 2 seasons he made 101 appearances and he scored 59 goals. That really isn't bad. In his first year in the National League, he scored 18 goals in the league, 7 in other competitions. He was special, and it was a shame for him to go. Of course, we only had him on loan. That's the problem. We had him on loan from Ebbsfleet, and in the end he moved to Ross County, and by this point we didn't need him. I was thinking of signing him on a free, but I just thought he was brilliant at National League level, but I don't think he would have been good enough for sort of League 2, League 1 at the time. Maybe he probably would have been good enough for League 2, but either way, he'd started playing for Ebbsfleet and then of course moved to Ross County. So we move on to the National League, one step away from the Football League. We were starting to improve Plumbing Park. We're starting to improve the training and youth facilities. Did we, or was it in the Football League that we did that? Because we didn't have any money for ages, did we? I can't remember when we started to improve the facilities, actually. I think we'd expanded Plumbing Park slightly at this point. But yeah, a good first season, good solid first season in the National League. 63 points, minus goal difference for the first time in a while. Conceded a lot of goals, and that was the problem. We were scoring goals, but conceding a hell of a lot of goals as well, which was a bit of a shame. But it was a good first season. And then in the second season, a huge improvement. We finished second and were promoted via the playoffs. 4 points behind Billericay. They were just a little bit too strong for us in the end. But if we look at the playoffs, we didn't have to play in the first round. In the second round, semi-final, we beat Tranmere Rovers 4-0. Just a one-off game. And then a final against Hartlepool at Wembley. 2-0 win. Was this our first trip to Wembley? I can't remember. Of course, we've won the FA Trophy. There might have been. There was the FA Trophy at Wembley. Let's just quickly look at the FA Trophy. So this was 2025. The FA Trophy, we won it in 2024. We won it the season before, so that must have been our first trip to Wembley, mustn't it? So I forgot about this. But yeah, we managed to beat... Who did we beat in the final? York City. That was a really good win, wasn't it? Winning the FA Trophy. Lots of competitions in our trophy cabinet. Or just before I forget, we'll just have a look at the Hampshire Senior Cup, because we've managed to win that a few times. We won it this season, of course. Competition that really doesn't matter now, but it's nice to win it. In fact, we won the Hampshire Senior Cup the same year as we won the got promoted via the National League. We'd already lost the final against our rivals Winchester City, remember? But yeah, we beat Eastleigh. We've beaten Bashley and we've beaten Aldershot in this competition. So this season, who was it that was the star? I think it was Elliot Avison, wasn't it? Let's have a look at Elliot Avison, who's now playing for Wimborne. Where are Wimborne based? They are based in the Southern Premier Central. That's the same division, well, the same level that we started at, 7th tier of English football. But he was so important for us in the National League. He really was. So the first time we had him was on loan. We signed him for free at the end of that first season, but he didn't have the best season. Only 7 league goals in that first National League season. He scored plenty of goals in the Cup. 11 goals in 13 games and 3 sub-appearances. That was the year, of course, we won the FA Trophy. So he was a big part of that. Lots of assists as well in that competition. So yeah, it was a strange season for him, but I decided to sign him on a free anyway. And it was a brilliant signing in the end, because the following year he scored 26 league goals, 31 in all competitions, 13 assists as well, and helped us get promoted to the Football League. We can't forget about him. Yes, he dropped off. He didn't have a very good first season in the Football League, only 4 goals and 4 assists in all competitions that season. In the end, we let him go, and he went to Wimborne. I'm pleased he found another club. He dropped off to a level below. I mean, if he could score 26 goals in the National League, you'd have thought another team would have come in for him, but they didn't. He's a decent player for that level, but yeah, he's playing for Wimborne, and doing okay, nothing particularly spectacular. He basically was a one-hit wonder. He had one incredible season and he'll be remembered for that. And he's written himself into Regen Rovers folklore just for that one season. So, Football League time. Let's go up. We struggled, predictably. I mean, every single season we have been predicted to finish bottom of the table. That is probably because we're a created club. The game doesn't know us. We have no reputation compared to other teams. We have built that a bit over the years, of course. But I think we're like 2.5 stars. I'll show you at the end when I've gone through this. We'll have a look at the club and it's the state of the club, I suppose. But yeah, it was a struggle. If it wasn't for David Okura, I think it would have been even worse. He picked up Player of the Season one year. I'm just gonna have a look. I'm gonna show you, in fact. So this is the player spreadsheet, but I've got a stats page. So the 13 seasons, all the ones highlighted in green, was when we were promoted. Our first year in League Two, David Okura made the most appearances. Player of when did David Okura picked up Player of the Season all the way back in the Southern Premier League? Actually, when he finished second. But he was important. I know we conceded a lot of goals. He was important in League Two. This was the first year of Mark Ball. So we'll have to focus on Mark Ball now. Oh, Sammy Orsini as well. Can't forget about Sammy Orsini, can we? And Marcus Higgins. I've forgotten about Marcus Higgins. How could I forget about him? So let's look at Marcus Higgins first. Club captain for a while, of course. He retired as well. So we let him go 3 seasons ago in the end. I think when we were promoted to the Championship. He made 200 appearances with the club in all competitions. And of course was club captain. And was a big part of our non-league story. And I think League 2 as well. He was our right back. After that point, didn't play so much. But yeah, really important player. Samuel Orsini's still playing, which is good. Playing for Tunbridge Wells still, at the age of 28. Signed him on a free from Oxford's at the end of that Southern Premier South season. And he made the journey all the way up to the Championship. And remarkably, he played 32 times in our first season in the Championship. Simply because I just couldn't find any consistency from our fullbacks. Yes, he wasn't amazing, but I just couldn't find someone that played... I think it was right back at that point. Remember, he was playing out of position for pretty much every season up until that point. He was playing left back, and he actually played really well at left back, picking up assists galore. He's probably towards the top of our all-time assists record players. I've never counted them. If I was to calculate them, he probably would be second. Maybe first. I don't know. Maybe he is first. But Mark Ball's probably up there now. But he really was an important player. He was an unsung hero. No one really loved him. No one really got involved but in the chat about Samuel Orsini. But he really was an important player for us. We'll look at Mark Ball now. Deserved to be looked at. Because the first season in League 2, he was our top goal scorer. Just look at him, by the way. Just admire him. His value's gone up again to 2.7 since you last saw me. He's going to be playing in the Premier League. He deserves to be playing in the Premier League. He joined us on a free. It's quite a remarkable free signing. He was playing in the National League South. It was a bit of a gamble at the time, but I looked at his attributes and I thought, this player has something about him. Of course, at this point, he would have been 6 years younger when we signed him. He was 22, so just sort of gone past that youth period. There's still room for improvement, but he scored 22 goals in the National League South. And what I tended to do back then was look at these divisions, look at the top goal scorers, and see if any of them were available on a free. Still didn't have any money to spend in League 2, remember. And we got him. We convinced him. And he's always been a player that's never really been about the money. He's never been interested in having a huge contract. Yes, he's one of the highest earners at the club, but he's only earning 6.25k a week in the Championship, at the top of the Championship. That is incredible. He's still got 2 years left on that contract. I think he's probably got a percentage increase for getting promoted. But he only wanted like 1k a week in League 2. I don't think he was our highest earner at that point. I think Elliot Averson might have been in that first season in League 2. And he scored 26 goals, 23 in the league. And he's been our top goal scorer ever since. Apart from this year, joint top goal scorer of Luna. He made 2 less appearances, which means Luna managed to get that accolade. But he was top goal scorer in the Championship this season. What a season he's had. Really, really special season. I thought he'd scored all 29 goals in the... This is weird. This is wrong. He scored 29 goals in the league, not 22. That's for certain, because yeah. I'm getting distracted here. That is really weird. What has happened there? Yeah, 29 goals. I've not noticed a mistake before in the statistics, because he didn't score in the cup this year. What's going on here? He didn't score 7 goals in 7 appearances in the cup. That is really strange, isn't it? I don't know how that's happened. Last year he scored 30 goals in the league. Insane season. He is so insane. He is ridiculously good. And let's go back. The following year, his second season at the club, he got us promoted. First place in League 2. It was a strange season. It was very well balanced. No one ran away with it, really. 86 points at the top is a good total, but usually you'd need sort of 90 odd, I think, to finish first in League 2, because there's 3 automatic places. And for Chesterfield to get promoted on 78 points automatically, it was just a very, equal league, really, I suppose. But Mark Ball really was special this year. If you look, 33 goals in the league, 34 in all competitions, 12 assists, 10 man of the match performances. What a season from him. So up to League 1 we went. And we got promoted again straight away, just like we managed going up to the National League South. We got promoted from the National League South at the first attempt. In League 1, we got promoted at the first attempt. Predicted to finish bottom. I thought this would be a real hard step up from League 2. But we breezed it. We were so good. We only lost 4 games all season. 27 wins. Goals galore. Our defence was so much better. David Okora had a really good season in goal for us in League 1. Defensively, we just found something that was a bit more stable. I can't remember when we started playing the 4-4-2. I don't think it was until the Championship, actually. But 96 points is just ridiculous. And once again, Mark Ball was insane. A lot of fantastic performances that year. Let's have a look at the results, actually. I need to go forwards, in fact, to League 1. And you can see Mark Ball. Ryan Curtis by this point had joined the club, and he's been a good servant for the last few seasons. 21 goals, 30 goals, 14 goals, 8, most recently 4. He's obviously dropped off a bit down the pecking order. His first 2 seasons for the club were special. Grant Hunt had a decent couple seasons with us. Never really was prolific. Tended to be played out of position on the right hand side or come off the bench. But he's joined Wigan in League 2, so he's a decent player. He's playing at a good level. So I'm pleased for him. He's only 23, so he's still very young. He was incredibly young when he was playing for us in League 1, actually. David Okora scoring a penalty. This might have been the year he had a really good goal-scoring record in League 1. Maybe it was League 2. Toby Brazil was an important player that year. He's playing for Doncaster Rovers these days in League 1, so he's also playing at a decent level. We had a player exchange. We sold him for 150k to Bristol City. Didn't quite work out for him there. But 13 assists this season for Doncaster is not bad. But yeah, a good few years with us. A good 4 seasons with us. Bit of a bargain, I think. Never had an amazing season, but he was good in central midfield. Just picking out a few players, really, that were good for... I mean, John Patinama just didn't work out for us, did he? He's playing back in Holland these days. Moved to Aberdeen. He's been on loan. He couldn't get in the Aberdeen team. But yeah, that's a bit of a shame. He's still young. He's only 22, but hasn't quite reached his potential. Maybe we spoiled his potential with our crap facilities. I don't know. Not entirely sure. Dickie Stratton. Oh, the names are coming back to me now. Dickie Stratton. Yeah, was a bit average, wasn't he? But he's playing for Redditch in the... Oh, he's really dropped off, hasn't he? Really dropped off. He's 26 now. Agu still scoring in League 1. Fantastic stuff. Yeah. That was an enjoyable season. Really, we just absolutely walloped everyone, didn't we? I loved it. I loved that season. Got to the 5th round of the FA Cup as well, losing against Aston Villa. Didn't we do well in the League Cup? Yeah, we got to the quarter-finals. Oh, yeah, this was the year where who did we beat in the League Cup? Yeah, we beat Manchester United on... Oh, yes, this season is one of the best seasons of Regen Rovers. It seems it's a long time ago because, of course, I've not been quite so consistent lately. Since we got to the Championship, the uploads haven't been as consistent. So I apologise about that. I've explained my reasons before, but that's why this season seems a long time ago. But it's only, of course, four seasons ago. So our first season in the Championship was just sort of consolidating ourselves. It was good. We were 6 points above the relegation zone. There was never really a big threat of us going down. Oh, that's this season. I think it was fairly comfortable. Not amazingly comfortable. I mean, our goal difference wasn't the best. We conceded a lot of goals. This is when we decided we need to replace Okora, although, as I've said before, statistically, he did actually play quite well. But we survived, and that was the main thing. And then, second season, incredible improvement again. We do this every single time, don't we? You know, sometimes we've gone up straight away, but Southern League, Premier South, first season really struggled. Second season, mid-table. League 2 struggled in that first season. Second season, promoted. Championship, first season, close to the relegation zone. Second season, the playoffs. Really special. And, of course, we beat Bristol Rovers in the semi-final thanks to Mark Ball. And then in the final, penalties let us down. Tasakovic missed a penalty. Someone else missed a penalty. It was like, 11-10 on penalty? It was ridiculous. It really was a ridiculous penalty shootout. But this year, second time lucky, promoted to the Premier League via the playoffs. And the playoffs were insane. It was a classic Regen Rovers story. We lost 4-2 in the first leg, but beat Bolton 4-0 in the second leg to go through 6-4 in aggregate. We avoided Leeds, fortunately. And then in the final, 3-1 down. Mark Ball scores, the 86th minute, something like that, to get an equaliser to make it 3-3. And he ends up scoring, I'll show you. You've already seen this, it's not long ago. 4 goals from Mark Ball. Oh, he is insane. He really is insane. And this year was special, wasn't it? It really was special. And next year we're going to be playing in the Premier League. I'm buzzing. I'm really looking forward to it. So let's take a look at the club. We'll take a look at the records, and I'll also have a look at all the other leagues and cups, etc. Not everything, but a few key ones. So we're now a 2.5-star national reputation team. I don't know if that go up to 3 when we get to the Premier League. I hope so. I mean, we must be the lowest reputation team to ever get promoted to the Premier League. Look at this, by the way. It really is quite a journey, isn't it? Love it. Here it is. This is useful, actually, having it in this sort of format. Just throws the marked improvement over time, doesn't it? Worst ever season points-wise was the first season, 41. Best ever season points-wise, well, actually equal between the Southern Premier South, 96 points. Although that was less games, and that's actually the most impressive season, technically, isn't it? Only lost 2 games as well. Quite special. Anyway, let's have a look at the club legends. So, I'm still on that list. Mark Ball is a club legend too. Did he make that last year? I'm pretty sure he was on it last year. This isn't the first time he's been on it, is it? Pretty sure he made club legend status last year. Marcus Higgins and Asini still club icons. Agu's on the favoured personnel. Fawkes has dropped off now. He was on here at one point. Who else was on here? Sean Walker. Was Sean Walker on here? He might have been. Can't really remember. Let's just have a quick look to see how our rivals are getting on. Winchester City have just been relegated from the National League South, by the way. 1-star reputation team. Ebbsfleet, currently, they've been promoted to the Football League. 2-star reputation team. Poole Town, rivals because of our previous universe, the first series, of course. They've just been promoted from... Oh, wait, they got promoted last season. And lastly, Hartley Wintney. Where are they playing? 8th tier? Yeah, 8th tier of English football. We need a new rival. We need someone at our level. I mean, Southampton are a bit of they're a local derby team, but they're not according to the game. It would be good to have Southampton under derbies, actually, wouldn't it? And Eastleigh as well, really. But Southampton's more relevant now. And Portsmouth, I suppose. But Portsmouth are playing a couple of divisions below us now. Southampton, friendly rivals, let's say. They might turn into fierce rivals one day. Depends on the various results we get against them, I think. Now, Plumbing Park's going to have to be expanded. It's currently 9,000 and only 4,754 seated. Now, although we've been given a lot of money, and I'm excited about that, it suddenly dawned on me that we're going to have to spend a hell of a lot of money making our stadium at least 12,500 all-seater. We're surely going to play at St Mary's, Southampton next season, or Reading or Portsmouth, somewhere like that, whilst we wait for Plumbing Park to be finished. The news will probably come in very soon, actually, about that. It's a shame that our first season in the Premier League won't be at Plumbing Park, I imagine, unless they can do miracles in the summer, which I highly doubt. But I did try and get the board to expand, but they weren't having any of it. Probably not expecting us to get promoted this soon. So financially, although we're in an okay position right now with this going down, it's not good. We've lost a lot of money this season. We're going to have a ton of money come in from the Premier League, TV money, etc. So hopefully it won't cost too many million to expand Plumbing Park. We're able to expand it to 25,000. So it should be fine. I don't think we're going to have to build a new stadium. Although it'd be quite interesting moving stadium, wouldn't it? So I guess Winchester City aren't playing here anymore. Is that because they've just been relegated again? Interesting. That is interesting, actually. Where's their facilities? They are playing back at their stadium. Blimey. How many years? They played at Plumbing Park this whole time. Forever. And they've moved back to their original stadium. I think it's because they've just been relegated from the National League South. In the National League South, they wanted to play at Plumbing Park. Maybe they needed to have 500 seated at least, or something like that. And they just couldn't be bothered. Well, they're paying rent to their own stadium. So it must belong to... Oh, yeah, it belongs to the council. Did it belong to the council before? I have no idea. But I'm pleased they're not playing here anymore, because it was a bit annoying sharing a stadium with a National League South team. So I'm kind of glad they've been relegated, because that would be really weird. A Premier League team sharing... It might be that. It might be that we've been promoted to the Premier League, and it would just be weird if a non-league team, a 7th tier team, played at a Premier League team stadium. That just would be odd. So I'm glad they've gone. Of course, we now have an affiliated club with Farnborough. I'll have a look to see if they've got any players. I highly doubt it. Oh, this is England. Whilst we're here, let's have a quick look at England, shall we? Now that I've accidentally clicked on it. This guy's the manager, Italian manager. Key player, George Armstrong, centre-back, playing for Everton. Currently 3rd in the world rankings, by the way. We'll have a look at the World Cup in a second. I don't think there's any... Oh, Phil Foden's still playing. He's one of the top players at the age of 30. You probably want to have a look at the team now that I'm here, don't you? This is the team. You might recognise some real players in there. Trent Alexander-Arnold, still playing at the age of 32. 112 caps for England. And Jadon Sancho, 93 caps for England, playing for Arsenal these days. Got distracted there, didn't I? Let's have a look at the records. Oh, these are all the competitions we've won. We've won the League 1 title, we've won the League 2 title, FA Trophy, National League South Trophy, English Southern League Premier South, that's still a mouthful, and 3 Hampshire Senior Cups. That's not a bad trophy cabinet, is it? And of course the playoff titles as well that we've managed to win. That's pretty pleasing. FA Cup progress over the years. Furthest we've managed to get is the 5th round against Aston Villa. We've not done very well since getting promoted to the Championship. Not really focused on that, I suppose. League Cup, likewise. We got to the quarter-final in that season. We did really well. That was an incredible season. But since then, we've been pretty poor in that competition as well. And Hampshire Senior Cup, that's the journey. Obviously won that 3 times. Moving on to... landmarks? Do we need all this? Oh, I suppose it shows the youth and training facilities, doesn't it? Mark Ball became captain last summer, replacing David Okoro. It was only 2 years ago that the stadium was expanded to 9,054. There's me. Oh yeah, looks good, doesn't it? 12 years, 329 days, almost 13 years that I've been here. 4 league wins, 4 cup wins. The records then. This is interesting, isn't it? So the highest transfer paid is Matteo. The highest transfer received is Glenn Martin. This is probably going to change in the summer, isn't it? Glenn Martin. So he is playing for Chesterfield on loan. He was on loan at Bury last season. Chesterfield in League 1 this year, so he stepped up a bit. Will he ever break into the Crystal Palace team? He's 21 now. Wow, we'll see, won't we? We'll keep an eye on him. Mark Ball, most overall goals by a player in one season, 37. Insane. He's also a top goal scorer, league-wise and, of course, overall. Lots of players. I mean, Luke Mooney's still listed here. Remember, Luke Mooney had one really good season for us back in the Southern Premier. So, in fact, that would have been... Was that the year we got... No, I don't think it was the year we got promoted. I think it was the year before, wasn't it? 31 goals in all competitions. Didn't work out for him in the end, did it? He moved to Crewe to chase the dream and it just didn't happen for him. Bit of a shame. Patrick Malone, youngest goal scorer. What happened to him? Still playing in Northern Ireland, playing for Police Service. Not in the top flight anymore. Dropped down. Scoring a few goals. But yeah, remember him? Paddy Malone, we called him. Jeremy Cook Best. How could I forget? That's probably because he's still at the club. He's still working for us. He's our club cook, of course. He's the coach driver. Wears the Phoenix mascot outfit every now and then. Still works in his Chesil Rectory restaurant in Winchester. It's not his, but he works there. Yeah, that one season with us. Pretty awful, really. Scored a couple goals. Became a coach for one season for us. Didn't quite work for him. Just was awful, really. I think his personality was really bad. Just wasn't a good player person to have being a coach. But we love him. We love Jeremy Cook Best. And he's the oldest goal scorer still at the club. At the age of 30 years, 161 days. How old is he now then? He retired as a player at the age of 32 in 2022. So it's now 9 years. He's 41. He's almost middle-aged, is Jeremy. Well, he is middle-aged, really, isn't he? League positions, we know all about that. Attendances, yeah, look at that. We've just completely broke. I mean, because the last 2 seasons, of course, we've had a bigger stadium. We broke our gate receipts this year against Chelsea in the FA Cup third round. Average attendance has gone up almost every year. Actually, we had one blip, but yeah, really good average attendance this year. That would be pulled down by a League Cup and Hampshire Senior Cups. I think we've probably got a full capacity every league game this year. Oh, that's a friendly. Where's our... Oh, I'm looking at the wrong season. I'm an idiot. Yeah, here we go. The first game we didn't. In fact, we didn't. It took a while to get our capacity up. We haven't managed to fill it out every single, which is a little bit of a worry for the Premier League. But now we're playing in the Premier League, should be fine. And we brought like 25,000 people to Wembley for the playoff final, so that should be fine. Highest scoring match was this season. We won 6-3 last year and 6-3 this year. But the playoff final, to win it in that game, pretty special, eh? Most overall goals scored by a player in a single season. So Luna does break Ball's 5-season streak. Can't get 6 in a row. He got 29 though. He was determined, wasn't he, in that playoff final not to be completely beaten by Luna. You can say he got the same number of goals as Luna this season. He also was top goal scorer in the championship, technically. Most league goals. Oh, Luna. See, this is broken, isn't it? This is really broken. Luna got 29. Mark Ball got... What is going on? I don't understand what's happened there. Yeah, that's really weird. Most goals scored in a match. Most clean sheets. Bayliss the last couple of years. Decore before that, of course. Trollope in the first season. 3. Highest average rating. This is a good one. Mark Ball has won it 6 seasons in a row. We've also seen Assini, Alec McCann, Marcus Higgins, Mooney, Agu and Fawkes win that accolade. Most Men of the Match awards was Luna this season. Mark Ball hasn't won it every year, has he? Worst discipline. Flanagan this. Blackman last year. 4 red cards. Completely off his head. Youngest player this year was Serenity. Last couple seasons, actually. Any players here? Willie Young. Callum Courtney. Yeah, played right back for Ben Ball. Yeah. Bassmore's still here, of course. Of course, Fawkes was the oldest player in 2024 at the age of 22. That was a really young team that season, wasn't it? Oldest goal scorer first. Stuart Cochran this year. Actually, he's the oldest one of all of this lot, isn't he? Patrick Malone at the age of 15 scored for us. That is just insane, isn't it? Oldest goal scorer. It's gone up progressively. Well, it actually started off old because of Chef, but went down and it's gradually gone up as our players have got older. Fans Player of the Year, Mark Ball, 6 seasons in a row. Insane. Absolutely insane from him. And fastest goal, that's interesting, isn't it? Tusakovic this season. Highest transfer fee paid. Completely blitzed the record this year, didn't we? Before that, it was just Sean Walker. $1,000. Held that record for a long time. Highest transfer fee received. Haven't received a huge amount of money over the years, have we? We almost spent £1 million this year for the first time. transfer income. There we go. So, what else is there to look at? Oh yeah, we need to look at all the other leagues, don't we? So I showed all the English leagues in the 13th season recap, so go and check out the end of that video if you want to have a look at the English leagues in a bit more detail. I'm going to look at other things. Firstly, the World Cup. So most recent one was actually last year, won by Portugal, beat Germany. Argentina won it in 2026. So Portugal, I guess, the best team in the world. No, they're 8th. They're 8th in the world rankings these days, 1 year on after winning the World Cup. European Championship, most recently won by France, beating Germany in the final. Champions League, Liverpool won it most recently. They've won it a few times, haven't they? 2022, 25 and 30. In fact, the one that's about to take place hasn't happened yet. Spurs versus Atletico Madrid, who've done very well themselves, I think, in this competition. Yeah, they've won it 3 times as well. So they're a bit of a dominant force these days. Europa League, that hasn't taken place either. Sevilla won the last one against Man City. Good win for them. Spurs won it. Chelsea. Yeah, actually, some of the competitions haven't actually ended yet, but you can see the most recent winners of La Liga. I don't have them loaded. Bundesliga won by Dortmund. Serie A won by Inter. Ligue 1, PSG dominant. No surprise there. Of course, I don't actually have them loaded. Should we have a look at the Scottish Premiership? Because I do have that one loaded. Yeah, Celtic have won it. Rangers won it twice in a row, but it's no surprise that Celtic finished first so many times. Hibs have done particularly well as well. MLS, don't have that. I don't really have much loaded. Now we've got to the Premier League, I think I have to load a few other things, don't I? Let's have a look at the Ballon d'Or, shall we? So I haven't looked at this for a while, I don't think. We saw Harry Kane win it. Neymar won it at the age of 32. Then Harry Kane won it again at the age of 32. Then the first regen to win it was this chap, who now plays for Manchester United. 114 caps for Portugal, insane player. But Pietro Pellegrini, a real player, won it 3 seasons in a row. Plays for Monaco. But another regen has managed to win it this year. These are the sort of players we want to come to Regen Rovers one day. Very unlikely, unless we play a long way into the future. Assume it's probably going to be the same for Footballer of the Year. But Mbappe won it at the age of 31. Still playing for PSG. This chap won it last year. Belgian managed to win this competition. Julian Brandt on there, age of 33, playing for Real Madrid. That always helps if you play for Barcelona or Real Madrid, doesn't it? Under 21 Footballer of the Year, Medina again. Yeah, he's special, isn't he? I think that's everything then. I think I've gone through everything. It has been a great journey. I've loved it. There's been some special seasons, haven't there? Particularly that season in League One. That stands out. Also, our season that we got promoted from National League South straight away. Our playoff win, winning the FA Trophy. And of course, this year's the best. It has to. I mean, promotion to the Premier League from this game is just ridiculous, isn't it? Absolutely ridiculous. And Mark Ball, our club captain, has led us up to the Premier League. He is going to love it in the top flight. I think he'll score goals. He won't be quite as prolific, I don't think. But if we can put a real top quality player alongside him up front, of course Luna's leaving, remember. If we can put a real top quality player there, maybe as a deep line forward, just helping out Ball, feeding him, scoring goals himself, then I think Mark Ball will score goals. He knows how to finish. He knows how to run. 16 finishing, 16 composure, 15 off the ball, acceleration, pace, technique helps as well with shooting. So although there's a lot of sort of average attributes here for a player playing in the Premier League, if the ball comes to him in the right position anywhere just at the edge of the box, he can score. We know he can. So I'll leave you with this. Mark Ball, biggest legend of the series, biggest legend of the club. Until next time, enjoy FM19 and enjoy the rest of your day. I will see you in the English Premier League.